For the past 2 years, my company has pulled in 7 figures, right? So we've pulled in over $1 million for the past 2 years in a row. Because that's the norm for me, because the norm is making at least $100,000 every single month, I've really been reflecting a lot on how my life has changed since I became a 7-figure earner and what I miss, which I think is really interesting. I think we never talk about the parts we miss about being an entrepreneur. So I wanted to share this with you, the real talk, real stuff. So if that's cool with you, we're gonna get right into it. First thing that I miss is the excitement and the unknowns about being an entrepreneur. When you're a new entrepreneur, nothing is for sure. Nothing is set in stone. You don't really know what you're doing. Everything is new and exciting. When you've been in business for 10 years, it's a little more boring. There's still moments of excitement. There's definitely moments of deep fulfillment, but the novelty has worn off, I think is what it comes down to. And I probably won't get that novelty feeling again until I'm at the $10 million mark. So I'm running an 8-figure business. And then that's a whole new level of novelty and different. But there is a special excitement about being a new entrepreneur. And nobody likes it because it's also kind of overwhelming. But man, I actually did a really good job treasuring and documenting that first-time entrepreneur stuff. And I'm so glad I did.
Where I started, I truly did start from the bottom up. I have $90 in the bank account right now. I can't.
$90 in the bank account. I say it all the time. That's what this video is referencing. It was hard for me because there was a feeling of the world is your oyster and you have stars in your eyes and everything's exciting. You do lose that over time. I think with anything else, right? And so if you're a new entrepreneur, don't try to rush this stage. Find what you can enjoy in this stage because you're only a new entrepreneur once. That's the first thing I miss. Second thing that I miss is the highs that you get from sales. They just aren't there anymore because it's so normal, right? We do 30 sales a day at a minimum, ranging from $7 to $20,000, depending on the day. Sales are normal, which is good. You want sales to feel normal. You really don't want to feel that excited about sales because when you're that excited, it means that it's an anomaly to make one. But I'm gonna tell you something. It's a little embarrassing. Whatever, here we go, we're all friends here. So when I made my first ever high ticket sale, it was high ticket for me, it was $4,000 and she paid in full. And I was so excited. After I got off the phone with her, I just had this surge of adrenaline and I freaking punched the wall. I literally punched the wall. I didn't punch a hole in it because I'm not strong. And I wasn't angry, obviously, but just the emotion and the excitement. I was like, yes! Punch the wall. You don't have that feeling anymore, that soul tingling feeling because sales are normal and that's good. That's a natural evolution of entrepreneurship. Sales should feel normal, but that high, that was fun. I miss that. So that's the second thing I miss. Third thing that I miss, and this one might be a little controversial. The third thing that I miss is the luxury to complain and to blame. Most of my friends are at least making 7 figures, if not 8 figures or more. When you're at that level, you don't waste time complaining and you don't waste time blaming. You just get right into solution mode. How do we solve this problem? Now, it's not to say that I never complain ever in my life. Of course I complain, but there is a noticeable and a significant difference in the level and the quantity that I complain versus somebody who's just, the word I want to use is less mindfully developed, right? There's just a maturity level to your life. And the further along you get in business, the more you realize that complaining is a luxury and that blaming other people is a luxury and it doesn't get you to where you actually want to go, which is the solution. So you don't waste time on complaining and blaming. You just get right to work to fix it. And somebody said something once I thought was so insightful. I don't remember who. I wish I could give credit to it. When you complain, you also are feeling like you're doing something about the situation. So you're talking about the situation, you're bringing awareness to the situation. And so you feel like you're being productive about the situation. You feel like you're doing something about it, but actually you're not doing anything at all about the situation. So you have this sense of a false accomplishment about the situation. And so if you stop complaining, all you can do is solve the problem. Next one. Now if I thought I was shy to share, I get nervous talking about this stuff because it's so vulnerable for me. This is just my thoughts, my head. So I used to let people feel free to speak their negative mindset over me. I don't do that anymore. You are not free to speak your negative mindset over my life. You're just not in my presence. And so I'll give you a couple examples here, okay? It's a really annoying habit that I have. So somebody might say oh, these are for rich people. I say, no, we're rich people. Not those are for rich people. Those are for the rich people. No, we're rich people. You're not allowed to say in my presence, when you're speaking about me, those are for the rich people. You're just not. We're rich people. Even if we're not, we're speaking it into reality. If I own my own gym, I'll do blah, blah, blah. No, when you own your own gym. Don't say if, say when. And right there in that moment, I'll correct them. I don't know how I have friends because it's a very annoying character trait, but it's habitual at this point, and I'm certain it's annoying, but I understand the power of the words we speak over ourselves, and I refuse to allow other people to speak their limiting beliefs over my life. It's like a grandma telling you to take your elbows off the table. Like, that's exactly what it's like. But it's really important, and I will be that grandma for you because I want you to live a life of abundance if that's what you want. Next thing that I miss, now that I'm a 7-figure earner, I miss the leaders who walked before me. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is there are a lot of women making 7 figures, a lot of them. There are significantly less women making 8 figures and even less women making 9 figures. And not only that, but the ones that I do know of that do, they're older, and so they don't have kids or they're done having kids. And so it feels like the pool of people who are in my life position and have accomplished what I want to accomplish is a lot less. Because so few women even make 7 figures to begin with, right? So that means significantly less women are out there making $10 million or out there making $100 million in my field. And so I miss the days where I could look up to women who are making 7 figures and be like, that's what I want. What is she doing so I can copy it? The higher up you go, your pool of leaders is smaller. Last thing I miss though, now that I'm a 7-figure earner, is I miss the small problems. Now, of course, when you're in this, before 6 figures or whatever it might be, when you're running a small business, you only have small problems. Of course, they feel big, but they're just factually smaller problems. There's less responsibility. If I make a stupid decision, a bunch of people can't pay their rent. So I miss the days where I got to run around and pay my bills and just chill. And I would not go back to that, right? Like, there's pros and cons, but the problems that you deal with as your business grows are just bigger. They're just bigger problems, and it requires more responsibility and more thoughtfulness. That's just part of it. It's just I'm happy to make that trade. It's not something I regret. So by the way, this is just a sneak peek into the behind the scenes insight into what it looks like to run a successful, online $1 million business. So I get asked questions like this a lot. People want to know, what's your process to creating 100K months? How did you build and run your successful 7-figure business? What are the millionaire daily activities that you do? So I put it all together in a package, and I basically call it the secrets of a $1 million business owner. And I open up about a lot of things that most 7-figure earners don't tell you, maybe because they want you to pay them a bunch of money or whatever it might be. But basically, I show you how I set up all these income generating systems on autopilot. There's some bonuses in there. It's a little kit. If you want it, you can just click the link in the description below. It's not super expensive. It's super worth it. I put a ton of work into it, and it will kind of give you a framework, because you can't even visualize what a 7-figure business looks like until you're actually running a 7-figure business, or you have somebody who's done it kind of walk you through what they did. So if you're interested, you can just click the link in the description below to grab it. I think it'd be super helpful. I wish I had something like that when I was starting my business. I think it would have quickly accelerated my growth. So if you want it, take a look at that. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.